Tonight, the Northwest Territories has a new premier, Carolyn Cochrane. Good evening and welcome to North Beat. I'm Juanita Taylor. Today, Northwest Territories MLAs elected Carolyn Cochrane premier. Cochrane was one of 4 MLAs running for the top job, and it took 3 secret ballot votes to decide a winner. The CBC's Richard Gleason is standing by live at the legislature. Richard?
Yeah, Juanita, on the last ballot for premier, MLAs were faced with a distinct choice between new and old, between Caroline Cochrane, who was just beginning her 2nd term in office, and former Speaker and Cabinet Minister Jackson Lafferty, who was first elected to office 14 years ago. Candidates for premier needed a majority of at least 10 votes to win, with the one with the least votes being dropped from the ballot each vote until that happened. First-term MLA and former Salt River First Nation chief Frida Marcellus was the first to go. Hay River's R.J. Simpson was dropped on the 2nd vote before Speaker-elect Frederick Blake read out the results of the final vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, I declare that you have elected Ms. Cochrane as your premier-elect.
Cochrane is just the 2nd woman to serve as Premier of the Northwest Territories and is currently the only woman Premier in Canada. The 59-year-old was a social worker for 20 years before entering politics. After the final vote, she said the win was, in a way, a natural next step after an election in which an unprecedented 9 women were voted into office.
People were saying it's time for women to be at the table, so I was hopeful that people would honor that and realize that it's one thing to have 9 elected members, but we still needed to be at the table, because if we had a male speaker and a male premier, we would still not be equal.
Cochrane is the only cabinet minister from the last assembly to return to the legislature. Juanita, MLAs are just sort of trickling out of here every now and then right now after a long day. They selected their cabinet, and that continued the trend toward more women in leadership, with 4 of the 6 MLAs elected being women, and all 4 of those women being first-time MLAs as well. Elected to cabinet are Polly Chinna and Diane Tom from the Northern NWT, R.J. Simpson and Shane Thompson from the Southern NWT, and for Yellowknife, Katrina Knockleby and Caroline Wozniak. Juanita?
All right, thank you so much, Richard. That's our Richard Gleason live at the legislature tonight.